So we are live now. Hello everyone.
Okay.
Welcome to another session of Sustainable Saturday. I am Anmol Valyare and I am here with Shreya, the Human Practices Co-Head of Manipal BioMachines. Manipal BioMachine is a team of undergraduate students from Manipal Institute of Technology that participates in the prestigious competition hosted by internationally genetically engineered machines (iGEM) competition every year. So Shreya and her team focuses on using synthetic biology to develop or redesign biological modules or systems that could provide solutions to complex environmental and health problems, such as creating new treatment for diseases or improving environmental remediation capacity. Today Shreya would be talking about the negative effects of trichlocarbon or TCC in short on human health and environment. So I hope our audience learn more about TCC. And now over to you, Shreya.
Anmol, thank you so much for the introduction. Hi everyone, I stand before you today to shed light on a critical issue that has far-reaching implications for both our well-being and the environment we call home. I'm going to talk about the presence of hazardous chemicals in our personal care products, which is not just a concern, it's a call to action that demands our attention, our understanding, and our unwavering commitment to positive change. We live in a world where personal care products have become an integral part of our daily routines. These products promise us a sense of cleanliness, hygiene, and enhanced well being. Yet, as we are pampering ourselves with these items, we often overlook the hidden dangers that lie within them. In fact, many of these products we use on a daily basis contain harmful chemicals that not only pose as a threat to our health, but also cast a shadow over the delicate ecosystems that surround us. Now, imagine the lotion we use to moisturize our skin, the soap we trust to cleanse ourselves, and the shampoos we rely on for healthy hair. These seemingly harmless products can harbor a host of chemicals that persist in the environment long after they've left our sinks and showers. One such chemical is trichlocarbon, a common antimicrobial agent found in soaps, body washes, and other personal care items. Now, you must be wondering, why are these chemicals added to personal care products? What are these antimicrobials? Well, these antimicrobials are essentially added to provide the clean factor or the cleanliness or to preserve the efficacy of these products for long-term usage. And they are found in almost every product that you use, from your soaps, shampoos, to even your shower gels. As these products are washed off, we assume that they disappear down the drain and they vanish from our sight and our minds. However, this assumption couldn't be further from the truth. The wastewater systems designed to treat and purify water before it's released into the environment are not always equipped to effectively remove TCC and similar chemicals. And consequently, these substances always find a way into our waterways, where they accumulate in rivers, lakes, sediments, and even other living organisms. Now, the reason they accumulate in such wastewater treatment plants is because of their chemical nature, where they can absorb the sludges. They can even be small particles. Like some chemicals have properties that make them resistant to degradation or removal by conventional wastewater treatment processes. Like chemicals that are highly stable, repel water, absorb the sludge, or have complex structures that can be more challenging to break down. Wastewater treatment plants use various processes to remove contaminants, such as physical. One second. Sorry. Such as physical, chemical, and biological treatments. However, these processes are not always effective against especially the new age chemicals, where they may be too small to be effectively removed by sedimentation or filtration, and they may just resist chemical treatments, or they may not be readily biodegradable by organisms, which is the case with trichlocarbon, where it becomes toxic to the microorganisms and therefore prevents their existence, in fact.
Sorry for interrupting, Shreya, but I wanted to ask you about isn't Pseudomonas florensis, I guess, a
Mhm.
bacteria that can break down TCC?
No,
like in what?
Pseudomonas chlorines has been used right now, but they haven't effectively used it in all the wastewater treatment plants. In
Okay.
fact, our team is working with Pseudomonas chlorines and we are modifying it in such a way that can degrade trichlorcarbon even more effectively in wastewater treatment plants. Because the rate at which Pseudomonas presently degrades trichlorcarbon is too slow. Like wastewater treatment plants are very fast processes, if you've seen.
Yeah,
So we're trying to improve the speed and efficacy of that. That's in fact how we're using synthetic biology.
that's actually great. So please continue, Shreya.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, these chemicals are not effectively removed. And consequently, these substances find their ways into our entire ecosystem. The journey of TCC and other chemicals from our bathrooms to the environment is not a simple one. It is a journey riddled with consequences that can reverberate through our ecosystem. Once released into water bodies, trichlorcarbon has an unsettling ability to persist for extended periods. This persistence leads to bioaccumulation, a process by which the chemical accumulates in aquatic organisms. Fish, for instance, are a poignant example of the collateral damage caused by these chemicals. Trichlorcarbon accumulates in their tissues as their bodies struggle to metabolize or excrete it, and the result is a cascade of effects that disrupts the very fabric of aquatic life. Fish are a cornerstone species in many ecosystems and they play a vital role in maintaining the balance. Yet, the accumulation of trichlorcarbon in their body disrupts their hormonal systems, impacts their reproduction, their development, and in fact, their overall population dynamics. These effects ripple throughout the ecosystems and cause shifts in biodiversity, alter food chains, and ultimately compromise human well being. Trichlorcarbon is even, as I mentioned, it absorbs the sludge, right, in wastewater treatment plants. So it accumulates in soil when the sludge containing trichlorcarbon is applied as a fertilizer. This leads to contamination in agricultural soils over time. And the persistence of trichlorcarbon in soil affects soil health and nutrient cycling processes. The exposure to trichlorcarbon in the soil may lead to reduced seed germination, stunted growth, and other negative impacts on plant health, which potentially affects crop yields and quality as well. Now, after listening to so much, I'm sure you know, as I mentioned, trichlorcarbon is just all these kind of chemicals such as trichlorcarbon are horrible for us. To recap, they have carcinogenic impurities, have acute chronic toxicity, can be a mutagen for humans, persist in environment, have bioaccumulative properties, and even aren't effectively treated by other antibacterial or antibiotic compounds. Now, the urgency of this issue cannot be overstated. The chemicals we unknowingly introduce into our waterways pose a significant challenge, not just for aquatic life, but for the entire ecosystem interconnected with the web of life on Earth. The risks to our health and the well-being of our environment are undeniable, and the time to act is now. So, what can we do to address this issue and reduce the unintended consequences of chemicals like TCC in our personal care products? You must be thinking there must be some regulatory measures in place that must already be handling such things, right? I'm sorry to tell you, but you can't be further from the truth. As of June 2023, trichlorcarbon has not been banned in India. The regulations and restrictions on trichlorcarbon or any other chemical substance in India are determined by the government authorities responsible for environmental protection, public health, and consumer safety. These authorities include the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, the Central Pollution Control Board, India's Central Drug Standard Control Organization, and other relevant agencies. And right now, a complete ban on any product requires robust, authentic data and evidence, and hence an immediate ban may still not be feasible. There are a lot of regulations with regard to how much trichlorcarbon and triclosan and other chemicals can be used, but complete ban has not been implemented in India yet. The USA, however, has implemented a ban on trichlorcarbon and 30 other chemicals quite recently.
So Shreya, I wanted to ask you that what do you think? How much percentage of our personal care products contains TCC? Like a rough estimate.
By estimate, it varies depending on the product, especially like soaps and everything have much lesser concentration of trichlorcarbon, while shower gels and everything have a much higher concentration of trichlorcarbon. And um, it varies depending on what brand is manufacturing and things like that also, because it's generally used as a budget cut measure. It's much more feasible than a lot of bioactive compounds that may be available in the market today. So I feel like the consumer should just be aware, read the label, see what is written, how much quantity is there, and if they even find these things, especially since there's a complete ban in other countries, I feel like we should avoid it completely whenever we see its label. Does
So
that answer your
basically, this
question?
yeah, actually, so basically, they linger in our body even after they go through the drug metabolism. So their metabolites are still insoluble in water.
Yeah, exactly. They linger in our body for a really long time and they essentially act like a toxicity to our cells, where they induce our cells into such a toxic state that our cell cannot metabolize it, in fact. That's the same thing that happens with other bacteria, where TCC acts like a toxic compound and prevents its metabolic pathway from acting effectively to degrade it.
Oh, okay. That was actually nice to know about. So Shreya, you can continue.
So, what can we do as average consumers or average people who have seen such chemicals in our personal care products, who are at least now educated about the presence of such chemicals in our personal care products? The power lies in our conscious consumer choices and our ability to drive change through informed decisions. Allow me to share a comprehensive approach that can guide us towards a more sustainable future. We can educate ourselves. The first step towards making conscious choices is to educate ourselves with the chemicals present in our personal care products. Familiarize yourself with common harmful ingredients like trichlorcarbon, triclosan, parabens, phthalates, and formaldehyde. Look for resources, online databases, and consumer guides that provide information on the safety of various ingredients. Read labels. Take time to understand the labels on personal care products. Look for products that are free from harmful chemicals or those that carry recognized certifications indicating their safety and environmental friendliness. Labels like organic, natural, vegan, or cruelty free are good indicators or safer alternatives. Support responsible brands. Seek out brands that prioritize transparency and sustainability. Look for companies that have a clear policy on ingredient safety, environmental impact, and ethical practices. Support brands that actively work towards reducing their ecological footprint, implementing eco friendly packaging, and promoting social responsibility. The way you can do this is actually very simple. Everything today is available on the internet. Look at the product that you use, which brand is the owner of that product, and look at their page on the policy on products such as on chemicals such as trichlorcarbon and triclosan. They're quite clear and it's available freely on the internet. If you feel like it's still not providing you enough information, try gathering people and raise awareness so that you can reach to the company directly.
Shreya, even if
Explore.
even if we understand what ingredients they basically use in their products, how can we actually spot, like apart from TCC, obviously,
Mhm.
that they are bad for environment or they can actually cause a major damage? Because almost all ingredients have some degree of negative effect on the environment, like in general.
Okay. Not all ingredients have a negative effect on the environment. In fact, a lot of alternatives are being used at right now, especially like I mentioned, the environmental friendly ones or the eco, like natural swaps that they're using. They have basically no impact, like negative impact on the environment.
Sorry,
And
actually, I wanted to rephrase that, like antibacterial ones, antibacterial
okay,
chemicals, basically.
so, in case of antibacterial chemicals, this is one thing I was going to address later. There are environmental friendly alternatives that are being approved by the FDA, and the only reason way we can stay safe from all of this is through reading. And in fact, presently, my team and I are working on a handbook which can educate people on some number of chemicals in their alternatives and what are to look out for. And there are a lot of other such resources available on the net. It's comes with a simple like search. That you can look at saying what products or what chemicals have been banned recently by maybe the FDA or by the Indian government, and then looking at if it's present in the label that you consume daily. Does that answer your question, Anmol? Is there more I can
Yeah.
elaborate?
No, no. Continue, please.
Okay. So we have to explore safer alternatives, like rightly Anmol brought up in his question. We have to see what alternatives are there in the market which are much better for our health. Because don't forget, these chemicals do. If you think the environment wasn't a bad enough impact factor, they also are carcinogens and mutagens for us. They have been implicated as cancer causing. So we have to explore alternatives which often utilize like plant-based ingredients or essential oils and organic formulations. And we can opt for these products and reduce our exposure to harmful chemicals and support a more sustainable industry. Apart from this, we also need to spread awareness. We need to share our knowledge and experience with others, engage in conversations about the potential risks associated with certain chemicals in personal care products. We have to raise awareness among friends, family, and the wider community by emphasizing the importance of making informed choices and encouraging them to consider the environmental impact of their own personal care routines. We have to advocate for change. As conscious consumers, our influence extends beyond our purchasing decisions. We have the power to advocate for change at a larger scale, engage with local and national authorities, consumer organizations, and environmental advocacy groups. We have to call for stricter regulations on chemicals in personal care products and support campaigns that promote safer alternatives and encourage manufacturers to adopt more sustainable practices. Now, what are these environmental friendly alternatives that I've been mentioning for the past couple of minutes? In the USA, after the FDA ban, most manufacturing companies have switched to one of the three antibacterial chemicals, which are benzalkonium chloride, benzalkonium chloride, and chloroxylenol, which have the same antimicrobial efficacy as triclocarbon but are much safer and much better for the environment. Certain essential oils like tea tree and thyme oil are also being implemented. Now, by following these steps, we can collectively contribute to a healthier and more sustainable environment. Our choices as conscious consumers have the potential to drive change throughout the personal care product industry. By encouraging manufacturers to prioritize the use of safer ingredients and adopt sustainable manufacturing practices and reduce their environmental footprint. In the recent years, we have seen that consumer choices have really driven the action towards a safer, greener planet. And we can do the same for the chemicals present in personal care products as well. In conclusion, the presence of hazardous chemicals in personal care products, such as triclocarbon, poses a significant challenge to our environment. However, through our conscious consumer choices, we can pave the way for a more sustainable future. Let us embrace our role as guardians of the environment and advocate for a safer and greener environment. Together, we can protect our ecosystems, preserve biodiversity, and ensure a healthier planet for future generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. It was actually an amazing session. It was great talking to you. Actually, before we go, I wanted to clear one more question with you. That
Please go ahead.
some people actually say that TCC, trichlorocarbon, even
Mm.
disrupts androgen and sorry, it acts as a cofactor for androgen and estrogen receptors. Is that a valid concern? Like,
It is a
are there
valid
any
chance.
research that backs that claim?
Yeah, and more, in fact, there's a lot of research that backs that claim today. Triclocan, like how you said, it binds to your hormone receptors present in your body. It serves as an endocrine disruptor essentially. So it's been known to especially affect a lot of pregnant women during their pregnancy, and even like aquatic organisms, especially during their pregnancy, because of this factor, where it can bind to like your estrogen receptors also.
And even like it can increase the chances of prostate and breast cancer also, right?
Exactly. Like I told you, it's a carcinogen. It's absolutely horrible. And the fact that such chemicals we don't realize before it's too bad for us is even worse.
True. So, Shreya, is there any message for the audience before you go?
I feel like my message, like I said, the main thing I want to come to people with is the spreading, not only the spreading awareness part, but also what we can do. Because learning about problems is one thing, but knowing our impact towards the environment and how we can fix such problems as layman people is what actually does matter in the end for me. So once again, educate yourself, read labels, support responsible explore safer alternatives, and spread awareness. Advocate for the change you wish to see.
Thank you, Shreya. I also thank the audience for listening to us and hope you tune in for the next Sustainable Saturday session.
Thank you so much for having me, Anmol.
Thank you.